And Peter King of Monday Morning Quarterback, mmqb.com, and also of Sports Illustrated is going to tell us what to watch for. And Peter, in reading your story in the always must-read NFL preview issue, you have the Packers winning the Super Bowl. For those that have not seen the issue yet, tell me why, Peter.
Mike, I think that they've solved some of their defensive problems. I mean, the last 2 years, Clay Matthews has been unavailable for 9 games because of injury. He's looking more solid and looking like he's going to make it through this season, at least as of now. And they've got Julius Peppers, and I think add to that the fact that I think Peppers really is going to be put in a position to succeed where I think he's going to do various things in that defense, and Dom Capers has a good plan for him. And then I think they've got a secondary that is really going to prove itself this year with Casey Hayward coming back from an injury-wrecked season. And I think they're going to have one of the best secondaries in football. So when they go up against the really good quarterbacks in that division, you know, the Cutlers and the Staffords, I think they're going to be able to play real competitively defensively. So I like their weaponry. I like them on defense. And again, everybody will say, well, geez, what about the Seahawks? Well, the last 8 years, the last 8 Super Bowl winners, not including the Seahawks last year, the last 8 Super Bowl winners combined playoff victories the following year, 0. There's something in the water. There's something in the air. Things happen. People say they're still hungry, but maybe they're not as hungry. And so I'm just choosing not to buck history this year and picking a new team.
You know, you mentioned the Seahawks, and it jumps off on the page when you're right. It was tough for you not to pick them. So obviously you like what they've done, but you looked at that trend and said, well, they're going to stumble as well.
It's you know, being at their camp, Russell Wilson. I mean, Michael, he the day I was there, he threw 6 or 8 deep balls that were so beautiful and just dropped right into guys. Percy Harvin, they got a second-round pick named Paul Richardson, a speed receiver from Colorado. They are significantly upgraded, in my opinion, even though they've lost Golden Tate, significantly upgraded at the receiver position. But, and there's a very big but, Percy Harvin has a tough time staying healthy. He's been a fragile player the last couple of years, so we'll see if he can stay healthy. But if he does, boy, they're going to have an explosive offense.
Peter, you've been around in football a long time in your career, and we opened up the show talking about should we be concerned by the Giants' ineptitude on offense, or is it just preseason? Where do you sit on this? Should there be a legitimate amount of concern about the Giants?
I think there should be a legitimate amount of concern because, you know, they've been pressed to the wall a couple of times now. You know, in their third preseason game when Eli and his mates were asked to get the offense in gear, they couldn't get it done there. Last night in 2 series where Coughlin and Ben McAdoo really want to see some progress there, they looked awful again. So, I mean, you know, one of the most misleading stats in recent NFL history is the Giants being 5-0 in the preseason. And you think, well, hey, no problem there. But obviously there is a problem, and it's natural, Mike. If you have a new offense and you've put in a totally new offensive system, you want to look pretty good in training camp at some point before you start playing. And there might have been a practice at some point where they looked absolutely perfect, but we sure haven't seen it in the preseason play.
Does it strike you and the people in the NFL that you spoke about as somewhat odd that the Giants would completely redo an offense with a quarterback who's used to doing it one way for 10 years?
Well, yeah, it would strike me as odd, but it would strike me as a bold stroke by Tom Coughlin, and I thought it was a good idea because it was obvious that the other offense wasn't working, and that he looked at the way the game was being played now. And theoretically, if you think about this, okay, if you tell Victor Cruz, Odell Beckham, and really what has been a terrible tight end situation, if you tell some speed receivers, and basically a tight end group that has been totally non-existent, that we're going to get the ball in your hands and we're going to let you guys make plays. Well, in an ideal world, I think that most players would say, hey, that's good, it's a great idea. And it just hasn't panned out so far. So we'll see. You don't want to shovel dirt on him yet, for obviously, but it's a very, very inauspicious debut, and I think, yeah, people should be worried about him.
Now, this is obviously an offensive league. We had Ron Jaworski on Wednesday. He said, I really think that with the way the defense is constricted right now, Peyton Manning might have 60 touchdowns this year. And everybody seems to be sloughing off the fact that the Jets secondary situation is not a problem at all. Rex Ryan will game plan around it. I mean, is there a reason to be worried with the cornerback situation?
I'm worried, is to put it mildly. I mean, I don't know who's going to play corner for him. I mean, at some point it's all well and good to say Rex Ryan has made chicken salad out of some very mediocre talent at corner in his career, and believe me, I have tremendous respect for what Rex Ryan has done both with pass rushers and corners in his career. He makes them play boldly. But on the other hand, let's be realistic about it. They're going to be down to the very lower depths of guys on their depth chart who would not have made this team. And those guys are going to be playing opening weekend for the Jets. So you will see. Maybe it'll work out fine. Maybe it won't. But I think people are right to be skeptical of their secondary the same way people are right to be skeptical of the Giants on offense.
We're talking with Peter King of MMQB.com and also Sports Illustrated. Sports Illustrated NFL preview issue is out, and it is a must-read. And before I let you go, I always ask you this question when we have you on before the season. Give me the team that everybody thinks is going to be good that has a potential not to make the playoffs.
Carolina. I think Carolina is going to struggle protecting Cam Newton. I mean, they've had 4 offensive linemen, including an excellent left tackle, Jordan Gross, retire since the end of last season. Cam Newton is likely on opening day to be throwing the ball to a set of receivers, none of whom have ever caught a pass for the Carolina Panthers before. So, and Cam Newton's going to enter that game with a hairline fracture of a rib, coming off ankle surgery in the offseason, limiting how much he could work with these guys. So I'll just say this. If the Panthers prove me wrong and make the playoffs, I mean, one of the guys who's going to be on the MVP ballot very high this year is going to be Cam Newton.
All right, how about a team that a lot of people think is going to be bad that you think has a chance to make the playoffs?
Tampa Bay. And I don't know that people, I mean, I'm sort of been, crying from the mountaintops since I saw him in camp that, boy, this team has got a lot going for it. I think people look at a team that has, a Josh McCown playing quarterback and saying, oh, they'll never be any good. But I think they are going to be good, and I think they're going to be really good. I think they might win double digits and be the number 2 team to New Orleans in the NFC South.
One final thing before I let you go. I am so, I don't even know the guy. I'm so proud of Roger Goodell for what he did yesterday and admitting a mistake and showing that he's a pretty big man. I mean, I thought the 2-game suspension, you were on with us, I thought that was really too light. And for him to come out and do what he did, not many commissioners would do that and really change course like that. Your thoughts on what Goodell did?
I think, after a few days after his decision, his original Ray Rice decision, he asked a few people inside the NFL office for their opinions, and he basically determined, I'd say, at least a couple of weeks ago, that he was going to do something, and he set about sort of methodically fact-finding in the community. And I know last week he had a very big meeting at the NFL office in New York involving 5 different groups. These are groups with names like national network to end domestic violence, Futures Without Violence, National Coalition Against Domestic Violence. And these people all came in and basically advised Goodell. I think one of the things that also influenced him is that he takes a trip out to the West Coast every year to Silicon Valley to try to get updated on the latest in technology. And on that trip, he got read the Riot Act by a couple of women who were very high in the technology business. So I think that all contributed to him realizing I was too light on the sanction to Ray Rice.
Well, good for him. Really good for him. Peter, great stuff in the preview issue and on MMQB as well. We appreciate your time.
All the best, Michael. Take care.
Thank you so much.